Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world or whatever time you'll be watching this video. Now, guys, we have a bit of Canadian news for you today with where the government is dialing back the number of temporary residents it allows in Canada. Now, this is basically an immigration reset, and we're going to look at the deep dive into the 2025 budget impact on temporary residents. Now, Canada's 2025 federal budget introduces sweeping changes to immigration policy, dramatically reducing temporary resident intake while maintaining robust permanent resident targets. Now, let's explore what these policy shifts involve, why they are happening, and what they mean for Canada's economy, society, and immigrant communities. Now let us look at the targeted numbers. So the temporary resident reductions in focus. So the 2026 target, we're at 385,000 temporary residents, which is a substantial drop, 43% drop from the original 2025 forecast of roughly 673,650. The 2027 and 2028 forecast, there will be a further decline to 370,000 temporary residents annually. By comparison, Canada had initially projected welcoming over 516,000 temporary residents in 2026, and this has now been scaled back significantly. Now, already enacted cuts include 50% reduction in temporary foreign worker entries compared to 2024, a 60% drop in international student arrivals, and a 33% decrease in asylum seeker claims year over year. Now, the stable permanent residency goals with strategic shifts are that Canada will continue to welcome 380,000 permanent residents annually from 2026 to 2028, following a cap at 395,000 in 2025. There's a structural rebalancing favoring economic class immigrants who will constitute 64% of permanent admissions, and this is up from 59%. The budget introduces a one-time stream of 33,000 temporary work permit holders transitioning to permanent residency over 2 years, boosting in-country retention. And another new stream fast tracks US H-1B visa holders, and this will be to aim and attract high-skilled tech sector workers. Now, when we look at the economic motivation and public opinion, Finance Minister Francois Philippe Champagne states that the overhaul will bring immigration to more sustainable levels, mitigating strain on housing, healthcare, schools, and infrastructure. And a recent Environics poll reveals that 56% of Canadians believe immigration levels are too high. Now, Canada is reallocating $97 million to expedite foreign credential recognition, aiming to better integrate newcomers with in-demand skills. The government is also investing $1.7 billion over 13 years to attract top-tier international researchers to Canadian universities. So let us look at the industry and the academic ripples from all of this. So temporary foreign workers, sectors such as agriculture, construction, and hospitality, reliant on the temporary foreign workers, may face acute labor shortages due to the sharp intake reductions. What does this say for our international students? The 60% plunge in student numbers threatens post-secondary institutions' revenue streams and could impact community businesses and innovation ecosystems. And what does it say for asylum seekers? A 1/3 reduction in asylum claims is drawing criticism from refugee advocates who argue Canada is not living up to its humanitarian reputation. Now, what does the advocates and critics have to say? So let us look at the clash of perspective. So proponents applaud the balance, prioritizing economic migrants, reducing temporary inflows to ease public services, and supporting permanent integration. Now, the critics, on the other hand, they say that Migrant Rights Network denounces the policy as a shocking attack on refugees and migrants, asserting the government is misplacing blame for Canada's housing and service woes. Migration advocates also warn that sudden temporary foreign worker reductions could drive labor exploitation underground. And the opposition parties express concern about Canada's commitments to global humanitarian standards. Now, let us look at the broader implications and what comes next. So, in terms of housing and public services, the potential impacts, it could ease some pressure, but impacts depend on implementation pace. The economic stability impact could be slowed growth, tighter workforce in key sectors due to reduced temporary workers. The labor market integration. The impact could be recalibrated permanent intake, credential recognition support, aids skilled worker access. International perception. Canada's shift may affect its appeal as a destination for students and researchers. And finally, we look at the policy direction and its the potential impacts. The focus leans towards skilled in-country talent, especially tech and research. Now, what can we take away from this? Canada's 2025 budget signals a profound immigration pivot, turbocharging permanent, skilled immigration while dialing down temporary inflows. It remains to be seen how the export of labor, student recruitment, and asylum pathways will be restructured under tighter limits. The ultimate success of this policy shift will depend on whether Canada can balance economic demands, social cohesion, and its long-standing values around openness and diversity. Now, a few questions to ask ourselves. Do you think Canada's immigration cuts will solve housing and infrastructure challenges, or will it create new problems? Should Canada prioritize permanent skilled immigrants over temporary workers and students? Is public opinion driving policy too much, or is this a necessary correction? Know your thoughts in the comments. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more videos like these. Catch you on the next one.